right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Town of Groveland Zoning Board of Appeals for Wednesday, June 5th. Can I have a motion to open, please?
So motioned.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, away we go. First on the agenda, a continuation of application 2024-6 for 441 Main Street, also known as SD Park. A public hearing in accordance with general laws, Chapter 40A as amended for application 2024-6 made by SD Park Trust, Eric Harper trustee, 8 Federal Way, Groveland, Mass. for the premises located at 441 Main Street, Groveland, map 24, lot 9, located in the residential R2 zoning district to modify a special permit 2014-4 to add an additional building to the property. We have representation from the applicant here.
Good evening. My name is James Ogden. I represent SD Park Trust. Thank you for having me back. Last time we had met, you guys had asked me some questions regarding how many users were in the facility. And there's approximately 30 individual business users that fluctuate somewhat month to month. And they do use the property in conformance with the requirements that were set out in the 2017 decision from this board. Primarily focusing on small business support and small business support storage. So I guess I'm kind of here to answer any other questions that you guys may have.
Gentlemen, any questions for Jay?
Nope.
Jason, looks like there's a question brewing there.
Well, there's just so much information since there's so many different permits. It's all very confusing.
I know, that's what I was saying earlier, that this decision was on top of that decision, because this one overlapped and nothing happened on that one, but then it was moved on to this one.
I mean, I'm certainly not opposed to the usage. I don't think it really has a lot of impact on things. But in order for us to get a comprehensive conditions set, I think it would behoove us to have Annie put that together so we can have it in front of us. And then we can have something to actually discuss with Jay. Sort of a summary of all the different permits, all in one. So moving forward, it's clean, it's concise, and there won't be any questions about, well, what happened there? It's already all been nice and neatly put forward.
Sounds like someone envisioned it. No, I certainly would not, I wouldn't mind a very concise.
I mean, is that doable?
Yeah, I think I can definitely put something together like that. The building inspector already put one together, more from the building perspective, because he had some enforcement issues there, but I can certainly take that timeline that he's already established and pair it up with what I have for the zoning bylaw, or, I'm sorry, the zoning board. I would ask that the applicant also take a look at the history and make sure it lines up with what you're aware of, specifically that part, just to make sure we really are encompassing everything. But I do think it would make sense for moving forward for this property. So if in another 10 years or another 20 years, they want to come back and add additional buildings or something.
I'd say let's be the board that cleans this up a little bit.
Or tries to?
Yeah, exactly, tries to. Yeah, I mean, I would tend to agree. I don't think that any addition of the building to this property changes the impact of the property.
No, it
Doesn't change the scope or intent of what the existing property is. It's aligned with how everything is laid out currently.
Yeah, I feel that, like the building is consistent with the other uses on the property.
Thank you. Somebody's looking for consistency.
Yes. And I would certainly be inclined to approve it, but it would certainly, I think, add to our clarity and our sense of completeness to ensure that we're not overlooking something, to have that summary, yep.
I can just make, or have, incorporate that as essentially the finding of fact at the beginning of the decision. Normally, they're pretty concise for projects because we don't have much history on certain sites, but I think for something like this, having a more substantial finding of fact would make a lot of sense.
I don't disagree. Jay, is that the subject?
Does that work for you?
Yes, it sounds like a reasonable approach.
Or do we want to make a motion, or do we need a motion at this point, Annie, or?
Not for me to start working on that. We would just need a motion to continue it to the next meeting.
I make a motion to continue this matter to the next meeting.
So.
Seconded?
Right now, that's July 3rd.
Happy Independence Day.
Yes.
Yep.
Was everyone on July 3rd?
Weather dependent for me.
Some people like to start celebrations a day early.
That is true, that is a vacation week, right? What's the alternate?
Tell by
date
the
for July?
fireworks.
Would it be the 17th?
It would be the 17th, that's correct.
There's a good chance I'll be around on the 17th. I have some doctor stuff getting done. 'Cause
That should be tight for me.
Does that work? Or
It might be an issue for me, the 17th.
you're maybe first the 17th? Okay,
I'm a yes.
okay.
So what if we went the other way? What if, can we do end of June? Since right now it's only the 5th?
So I am not available the night of the 26th, but I can have everything ready with a memo for you guys to have the meeting, if you're comfortable with that. I could just have everything done, and then, I think I've done it before, I basically just take the agenda and write whatever notes I would say in person.
Everyone okay with that? I'm thinking just so we don't kick this out 2 months, if we don't have to.
What week?
Uh,
What day?
June 26th?
I won't be here, but I'm not necessary if you have other people.
Yeah, we're getting into that fun time of year where,
Yep.
I know, the summer's tough. And July and doing the first week of the month with July is always screwy.
all right, do we want to just say end of July, 24th?
What about the 10th?
Conservation Commission meets,
Can
so
we
you guys could meet.
Can we grab one of the other rooms?
Let me check first. But yes, you definitely could grab one of the other
In
rooms.
theory?
Yeah, as long as it's open, it shouldn't be an issue. I just don't want to accidentally book you guys somewhere where you can't go. So, and that was,
The 10th?
okay.
Yeah, yeah, that's doable for me.
Yeah, it's doing for me too.
John, does that work for you?
Yep. Really wrong.
The
Yep.
July 10th, yeah. So there's nothing in there, so I can book the room right now. Zoning.
All right, so amend that motion to continue to July 10th.
Okay.
All right, so there was a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, continued? Thanks, Jay.
Thank you. Oops, sorry.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jay.
All right, next on the agenda, Sewell Street. We've insubstantial changes to the plan previously approved. These changes include relocation of access for the development and associated changes to drainage, and the correction of an error in the decision to change the number of bedrooms from 298 to 312. Hello, sir.
Hey, how are you, Chris?
How are you?
So, I don't know if you guys get a chance to look at the new drawing, but we are moving the entrance to the front through Mr. Ryan's property that we acquired the other day. And we're gonna delete Nelson Street in its entirety. Spoke with the fire chief and building inspector a few months ago, had them on site to go through it, what they'd be looking at. We do a 30-foot road all the way up and around the bend to where it opens up into the main parking lot, which will give plenty of access, even if there was a broken down vehicle or whatever. And it just eliminates the need for Nelson Street with that. And we submitted a traffic report with the changes, and it actually makes it better with the vehicles that are parked in the line of sight at Greenwood on Sewell Street. When you're pulling out of Sewell Street, it's a little tight right there. So she said it makes that, it actually enhances that, makes it better. And my concern was actually Chesterton in the beginning, the two driveways,
Yeah,
but there's enough
yeah.
room. It meets the distance required, and it's actually better like that. There's enough room to see each other and have the contact as, we submitted as an insubstantial change, but there will be some drain manholes, just the ones that were on the bend of the road going to Sewell Street will switch over, they'll shift over to the straightaway. There's a little jog in the road, and then there'll be a little pond at the end of Sewell Street, and which should actually help out the flooding, the ponding that's taking place there. So, that's about it, and I'll answer any questions.
Gentlemen, questions for the applicant?
I think the biggest concern I had was Sewell Street and your driveway in terms of how close together they were.
Yeah, I think it's about 75 feet. Anything under 50 they're concerned with, so I don't even think she addressed that. I could have her add that to her letter, how Sewell Street impacts it.
That would
Keep
be-
in mind, there'd only be one property
Right.
that would access that,
That was my biggest concern, and then the only other concern was whether or not TEC reviewed the traffic report.
I have not heard back from them yet. I sent Peter an email this morning, and I just haven't heard from him.
And that would be the traffic as well as the stormwater management.
Yeah, the updated stormwater plans, which is just changing that small pond at the front.
Yeah, the stormwater kind of stayed the same. It just moved in some areas, and so the pond that was kind of behind Joe Ryan's house is on the side of Sewell Street now, and same amount of catch basins kind of switched over, so, but yeah, I would absolutely recommend TEC taking a look at it,
Yeah, I think that just covers everybody.
Yep, no,
But other than
definitely.
that, I think it's great.
Yeah, no. I tend to agree. I think it addresses a few things, and
It does, it's going to eliminate a lot of like, whoa, and then
Exactly.
sharp turns, and, the bus stop and some crosswalks will be relocated accordingly, but for the most part, yeah, I think it will be a nice addition to the site, and then,
yeah, and give it a little separation there, too.
yeah, and, Sewell Street's so lightly used. But I'll reach out to them tomorrow on the, to take a look at that and send a report in.
John, any questions?
Changing some units to what, 2 bedroom
So we didn't change any of the units. Somehow, it was always 312. But I don't think that was ever mentioned through the process. It was just the number of units. It was like 87 ones, 86 twos, and 15 or 14 threes. And just it somehow appeared in the decision, and the bank appraiser actually caught it up for the loan appraisal, picked up on that. So, yeah, it's just a typo, I guess.
John?
Nope.
That gave me a small stroke.
So you always want your bank appraiser
Oh, yeah, I was like,
find something?
Well, it would have lowered the value of it.
Yeah.
Right.
So, that's it.
All right. Annie, refresh my memory, since this is insubstantial, do we need a vote on anything on it, or? I can't
The board,
recall.
technically, I recently reviewed the Mass General Law, and I don't believe you need a formal motion because it is insubstantial, but it should be noted for the record that the board motioned to approve it and that you guys were fine with it, and then I can do what we did for the last one and just put up a letter, or put together a letter outlining the changes for the chair to sign off on.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I would maybe even check with the fire chief and Sam. They're on site if you want to, and then we'll go through TEC and wait for their review.
Yeah, if you want to do
Yeah.
that too, I can ask both the building inspector and the fire chief to just send me an email if you want that for the record too,
Yeah,
saying that
might be a
they're-
bad idea.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then, Annie, you just let me know, excuse me, you just let me know with TEC what they'll need, or if there's any monies necessary or whatever for them.
Yeah, we should be fine on the money,
Okay.
so that's fine. It's a big application time period right now, so everyone's a little busy with stuff like that. So I
Okay.
think that's just why we didn't hear back.
All right, awesome. All right, I'll wait to hear back. Thank you.
Good, so we got a motion
I'll
to
make a
continue
fly a motion to continue, so we can we add that to the 10th meeting?
to the 10th,
Yeah.
July 10th.
Does that sound good, the 10th, Bill? Work?
Yeah, I mean, we can play it by ear if TEC.
Yeah.
It'll probably go a little back and
Yeah.
forth. We'll probably continue, I think.
Yeah, pending, but,
Yeah, they'll probably have a couple questions.
okay.
That's fine.
Was there a
Yes.
Second.
motion and a second? All those in favor of continuing till the 10th?
Hey.
Unanimous?
Awesome,
right.
thanks.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.
All right, moving right along here. Minutes from the May 1st, 2024 meeting.
I forgot to include those in your meeting packet, so you didn't have enough time to review. I apologize.
Wasn't going to say anything,
Oh, thank you.
until it came time to vote, which the case I'd have to say something, because we
I
couldn't. vote
outed
on it.
myself. It's okay.
All right, so we'll add that to the approval of minutes for the next meeting. Town planner update.
Not much new. The various departments had a technical review conference with a potential buyer for Cedardale. And essentially they wanted to turn it into a youth sports hub, if you will. So they would be doing some pretty heavy construction up there, but it would more or less remain the general use that Cedardale was used for. So the timeline for that is ticking as far as them losing their non-conforming status. That area is zoned residential. So after 2 years of discontinued use, it loses its non-conforming status. So that is July 10th. Nope, I'm sorry. That is February 10th. Maybe it's the 21st, but of 2025. So we are left with about 7-8 months.
That makes me feel better than July 10th.
Yes, yes, I know. So we are left with much less than a year before Cedardale can only become residential development. So this potential buyer is hoping to get their ducks in a row quickly so that they're able to get in an application. And that application, it would be with other boards and commissions, but the zoning board application would be what would allow them to continue the use as what it is right now. So just keep an eye out on that. It's probably going to happen pretty quickly once it starts, just so that we can make sure that everything moves forward properly. So just to get that on your radar sooner rather than later. Other than that, the town, I think I mentioned at our last meeting, we met with folks over at 36 Garrison Street who want to put in 90 units of 65 and older housing. Most of it would be affordable. And when I mean affordable, I don't mean 80% AMI. There would be 30%, 40%, 60% AMI. There would be some market rate homes, but in preference, we're looking to make sure that Groveland residents are preferred. So they are going through the process of getting all of their documentation together. So keep a lookout for that too. That should definitely, with conversations with them, I would think by late summer, early fall, that will be on the docket, if you will. So.
Now, those numbers don't help us with 40B, right?
It does.
It
They would
does.
count towards our,
does?
it would count towards
it
our
counts.
subsidized housing inventory, which is the amount, which is the number that the state looks at for 40B units. So we would be with the Sewell
We'd be well
Street-
over the mark.
We
yeah.
would be substantially over our mark because all 90 units, because they're all rental, would be considered towards that subsidized housing inventory, even though not all of them, there would be I think they're looking at only like less than 10 of those units being market rate, so it's really gonna be very affordable for folks. But they would all, yeah, count towards that number. So,
Very nice.
yeah, other than that, I don't have much, or I don't have
Another note,
anything.
I was told tonight the tower is up for the cell phone.
Oh, the one at Cedardale?
Theodore?
Does the phone still drop when you're driving?
I don't think it's in operation.
Oh, it is up, yeah.
Tower is up.
Yeah, I hope soon. I know, I drop calls there all the time.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Any other items not reasonably anticipated?
No.
All right. Next meeting, July 10th. I will make a motion to adjourn at, what's that, 7:53 PM.
Second.
All those in favor? Right. Good night, folks.